What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video to recap training camp for the first day of August. August 1st, we roll into the month of August. The Jets play a football game in 2 days. 2 days! I'm going to be talking about that game tomorrow. The Jets travel tomorrow, so we'll have the podcast out in the morning, which make sure to subscribe to the Just Jets podcast. And then there will be the preview video before I am on the road driving to Canton, Ohio. Things you absolutely love to see. But let's get into it. Let's break down practice. So the highlight, maybe the catch of the year candidate already. I know it's early, but holy smokes, Jason Brownlee. Are you kidding me with this catch? Going up there Odell Beckham Jr. style and snagging it with one hand. He'd get banged up on the play, but he would come back, so nothing really to be concerned about. Are you believing me yet? Are you bought in on Jason Brownlee? I feel like I've been talking about him for months as someone who was going to push Denzel Mims off the roster. Mims is gone. Open competition for wide receiver 6. And Jason Brownlee has thrived every single opportunity that he has gotten, whether it's with Aaron Rodgers or Zach Wilson or Strevler or, Tim Boyle, whoever's been at quarterback, whatever team he's been running with, he's made plays against a really good defense. Like, that has to also be a part of the consideration here when you're looking at guys to make this roster. And that's not to say that Jason Brownlee is a 1,000-yard receiver and he's going to unseat Garrett Wilson or, even the 5 guys in front of him. But does he have value as a depth wide receiver and someone who can give you something on special teams? Absolutely. He has to make this team. And I can't wait to watch him in the preseason games because the guy's been a stud. Every single practice he's made plays, and going back into OTAs, he's been really good. So I can't wait to see more of Jason Brownlee in the next few weeks. And man, it's just every day. It's hard not to talk about this guy every day because he's been making highlights every single day. There was also a massive brawl today at training camp between Laken Tomlinson and Tanzel Smart. Laken Tomlinson hoping to have a bounce back season after a disappointing 2022 season with the New York Jets, his first season in green and white. It did not go very well, unfortunately for him. He spent some time in San Francisco before that, was a Pro Bowl caliber starting left guard, was not even average. He was a below average starting guard last year. I'm just hoping he can get to average to slightly above average. Anything more than that would be fantastic. But I think that if he's just a good starting level left guard, that would be a plus. And Tanzel Smart is fighting for a roster spot. This stuff happens and it was broken up quickly. And training camp fights happen every single year. It's going to be on Hard Knocks with the dramatic music going on underneath. That's just, it's football. That it happens. It's football. Robert Saleh talked about it at the beginning of training camp. He's like, nothing below the waist, keep it below the neck, and you're good to go. And, look, again, this stuff happens. The Jets also had Wes Schweitzer as the number 1 center again for the second day in a row. It did not go well yesterday. Today did not see that many kind of notes on it. So it does feel like it is Connor McGovern versus Wes Schweitzer, which is fine. It's going to be McGovern who starts at center. It would be borderline shocking if Wes Schweitzer won the job. I think he is fine depth as someone who could play center or guard. And they're going to continue to see what Joe Tippmann does in the month of August. He hasn't played a preseason game yet, and there's been discourse online about him being a bust and being the wrong pick, which is absolutely insane because there's no way to know that at this point in 9 practices into his career. But that's somehow been a story. But that was worthwhile to point out that Wes Schweitzer was the center that was taking these starting reps. JFM also returned to practice after missing a couple of days. Good to see him back out there. Wasn't concerned with him having a long-term injury, but want to see him get worked back in. Do not anticipate to see him or really any of the starters on Thursday, but glad to see him back and that it wasn't anything major or all that concerning because, man, the Jets defensive line, yes, they have depth, but JFM is still somehow going into his 4th season with the Jets, and he is still somehow an underrated Jet. It's wild, but really good find from Joe Douglas, and excited about that one, getting him back on the field. Last but certainly not least, we leave you with some good news. Garrett Wilson will be back on more likely than not Saturday. That's the plan anyway. Garrett Wilson, no reason to rush him back. Number one, Don't anticipate seeing any of the starters playing on Thursday, so he's not going to play in that game. And if there was a regular season game or an important game coming up at the end of the week, could he play? More than likely, I would think yes. But the Jets are being just extra cautious with him, as they should, because you're still over a month out before any games are going to be regular season games will be taking place. So like to see Garrett on his way back. I think that's a great sign that he's coming back, and just ramp it back up slowly. There's no need to rush anyone back at this point in the offseason and at this point in training. Not really the offseason, in training camp. It's too early. And the Jets were, going to be cautious with it, as they should. And, hopefully they stay healthy. That's the goal here. So to me, those were the biggest takeaways from training camp today. Good news on the injury front with Garrett Wilson and with John Franklin Myers returning to practice. You had Schweitzer taking some starting reps with the first team offense. You had a little bit of a scuffle, which is okay, and Jason Brownlee making an absolutely insane catch. So there you go. Those are my biggest takeaways. Let me know your biggest takeaways from training camp today in the comments below. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, I am Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.